some of the practical problems that data governance can solve. If we could break down what the basic problems are that organizations face when it comes to ungoverned data ultimately, and how what data governance does there.
Very good. So the first problem is really the siloed data, right? So the data is in siloed and in multiple different technologies out there, whether it's a data lake or whether it's different applications. So the data is in silo. How do I use it, right? So that is the number one basic problem. Then the second problem is generally around the literacy of the data. That how do I understand that when it's saying when something is saying the average quantity, is it really average quantity or this is a price value, right? So is the metadata definitions are correct or wrong, as well as like is the right information is there. So because the large amount of data is there, so you need to be able to put together a program which is at scale. So the metadata information, the data literacy aspect of it. Then the second is getting access to the data, because now you have large amount of data and say for example there is a huge amount of PII information is there, which is governed by laws, but there is a huge amount of the internal information of the company's confidential information is there. So for example, let's say company's salary information, right? You cannot share the salary information across the board, but it's not governed by the law, it's governed by your internal policies, right? Revenue number, or there are certain things which cannot be disclosed. Although revenue number is maybe for public companies can be the public information, but at the transaction level, this information is not, it have to be governed properly, because if somebody knows what is the revenue going to be next quarter, they can trade the value and then it will be insider trading, consider this insider trade. So there are, for every number, there is a country laws like France will say that, France data can only stay in France, it cannot go out of it. So there are locationalities problems. So there are various things around access of the data. Then the third pillar is generally considered is the data quality. When data move from one system to another system, is the quality is consistent of the data, and is how we make sure that when the data reach finally to the end user, he can really trust it. They can really see this is a high quality data, which they can put a trading on it, they can put a bet on it, they can take decisions on it, right? So when they are using this last time, so for example, a company's health information is finally understood from its balance sheet or from an income statement. And if imagine the income statement is wrong, imagine the balance sheet is wrong, then whole trading cannot be done. Then millions of billions of dollar trading happens on every day because of the data is so trustworthy, which is balance sheet and income statement, which represent the true value of the true information around the company, because this is very highly regulated as well as highly governed. Imagine that every data, if the data is not governed properly, then you will not be able to take decisions around it. So there are 3 or 4 or 5 areas are there, which is like a data catalog, which is kind of understanding that which kind of divide the data into divide the silos and give you the one landscape of the data. So data catalog is one use case which you should consider. The lineage impact analysis is considered as another use case to kind of understand where the data come from, where it goes, and kind of use this. The third use case is data literacy. Literacy is built on data catalog, and data lineage is a part of the building the data literacy, but also putting together a framework of communication together so that the consistent definitions are there, right? When we use the data is trustworthy. So that is the third use case we generally consider is the data literacy. And then the data access management, that how do we give access to everyone around the data, and then the data quality, right? So there are, I think there are 6 use cases of primary use cases of the data governance in order to really use properly use the data.